Now, when he was still campaigning, Argentina's new president Javier Milei threatened to cut ties with Beijing, favoring trade with the US and Europe.
Argentina's been playing financial chess, making sure they've got their moves down pat. Javier Milei's crew decided to use a loan from the CAF to ditch the IMF. Giving China's currency swap the old no thanks, we're good. Politics, right? And of course, Milei's been a charmer, hosting China's special rep and sending Xi a letter like they're pen pals. The drama happens as China hits pause on the currency swap and calls back its ambassador. Talk about high school level tension, right? Now, just to keep things interesting, Milei's team proposes a tax break for Chinese companies, like they're handing out candy. Looks like the airplane deal with China might not happen. Argentina kind of hints at it by putting F-16 models on the table. Next Generation Economics brings you the latest economic, financial, and global news from different parts of the world. If you are new here on our channel and you enjoy learning about different topics on a global level, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we'll talk about how Argentina is dodging a currency swap with China. Watch this video to the end and find out the reasons behind Argentina's strategic move. Let's get started. Argentina's new government used a loan from the CAF, or Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, to pay back the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. By doing this, President Javier Milei sidestepped a currency swap deal with China that had some strings attached. Since Milei took over on December 10th, there's been some behind-the-scenes action between Buenos Aires and Beijing. At Milei's inauguration, a special rep from China's leader, Xi Jinping, showed up. Milei had a friendly meeting with the envoy, Wu Weiha, and China's ambassador to Argentina, Wang Wei, on December 11th. Things went well, prompting Milei to shoot a letter to Xi the next day. We don't know all the details, but it seems like the letter might have touched on the currency swap deal that Milei's predecessor had set up with China. China and Argentina had this deal where they could use each other's money, like a special credit thing. But it's not automatic. They have to talk about it and agree. Before Milei chatted with Wu Weiha, the Chinese people said, "Hold up. If you want to use this credit, like maybe pay the IMF on December 21st. Xi wants to know what you're up to." According to Infobay, this big Argentine newspaper, Milei's central bank head-to-be had a secret chat with Wang Wei. They talked about the currency swap, that special credit ready to roll but needing a thumbs up from China. The Chinese diplomat basically said, "Tell us what you're doing with your central bank, because that's where the yuan's going. And we want to know Milei and Diana Mondino's game plan." During the campaign, both Milei and his political crew made it clear that they're not fans of China's plans. Milei even promised to switch to the US dollar as Argentina's official cash and shut down the central bank, blaming it for the messed up financial policies causing crazy inflation. When Milei got the lowdown from his central bank head, Santiago Basile, he was like a statue, as reported by Infobay. Around the same time Milei was hanging out with Xi's messenger at Argentina's presidential crib Casa Rosada on December 11th, his finance minister, Luis Caputo, was busy talking money with the CAF, that Latin American and Caribbean bank. So on December 14th, both Reuters and Infobay said that Milei's crew locked in a deal with the CAF. They snagged a $960 million loan to help the new Argentine government pay off the IMF on December 21st. And then on December 15th, the CAF said on X, ex-Twitter, Milei's office was all hyped, calling it their first big win. But some man in London, Christopher Ecclestone, who's been keeping an eye on Argentina's political scene, was like, "Looks like China went too far." Fast forward to December 19th, and the rumor mill in Argentina buzzed about China hitting the pause button on the currency swap they offered back in October, when Xi met with Milei's predecessor Alberto Fernandez in Beijing. The day before that, Beijing called back its ambassador from Buenos Aires, as per the Argentine gossip. We're not sure if Wang Wei heading back to China is them being mad at Buenos Aires or just a powwow before they figure out their next move. According to Ecclestone, China is in a bit of a tough spot and could use all the friends it can find, even if they're not the best of pals. He reckons that if Milei isn't giving them a hard time, he's basically a friend in China's playbook. The key, Ecclestone says, is for countries not to be all hostile. And he thinks both Xi and his crew are doing okay in that department. Milei used to sound pretty unfriendly during his campaign, but now he's chill, and that's gotta be a win for Xi, Ecclestone added. To show that Argentina is still on good terms with China, they've even picked a new ambassador for the job. Before that, there was some drama because the previous ambassador got called back by the old administration, leaving the embassy with not so important diplomatic representation. On Friday, Milei's crew put forward this idea to the Argentine lawmakers. They want to cut some slack for Chinese companies investing in Argentina. If these companies already pay taxes back home, they won't get hit with extra taxes here. It's kinda like the deal they have with companies from Japan, the UAE, Luxembourg, and those places. But hold up, there's a twist. The cool aviation deal that she was counting on with Argentina might be hitting a rough patch. On December 18th, when Argentina's new defense minister, Luis Petri, was chatting with the Air Force folks, there was a model of an F-16 fighter jet right there on the table. Word is, China really wants Argentina to buy their fighter jets. But Rick Fisher, this U.S. expert on Chinese military, thinks it's a long shot. He says the Argentine military, especially the Air Force, is tight with their U.S. counterparts. And that's a big reason why getting those Chinese fighter jets under Milei's watch might not happen. Milei's crew has confirmed that they're still aiming for dollarization since he took office, but they're keeping mum about when it might happen. Now, experts say dollarizing is not just about getting the economy in check. It's also seen as a move for Argentina to cozy up to Washington and step back from Beijing, looking at it on a global scale. Steve H. Hank, a professor at Johns Hopkins University who's all about pushing for dollarization, and Milei has given him a shout-out on X, explained it. He said China, like Russia, isn't a fan of the dollar being in charge everywhere, including Argentina. According to him, Argentina is no exception. Argentina's new government cleverly used a loan from the CAF to pay off the IMF, dodging a tricky currency swap with China. Since Milei took charge, there's been behind-the-scenes diplomatic action, including a friendly meeting with China's envoy and a subsequent letter to Xi Jinping. They scored a $960 million loan from the CAF, celebrated as their first big win. But China hit pause on a previous currency swap offer, recalling their ambassador from Buenos Aires. Analysts like Christopher Ecclestone emphasize the importance of positive relations, considering China's current global image. Argentina's diplomatic dance with China includes appointing a new ambassador and discussing tax breaks for Chinese companies. Tensions rise in a potential aviation deal, casting doubt on acquiring Chinese fighter jets. The government eyes dollarization, seen as a strategic move to align with Washington and step back from Beijing, according to Professor Steve H. Hank. The South American nation's position in the ever-changing geopolitical landscape presents challenges and opportunities as dynamics between China, Argentina, and the international community continue to open up. Join the conversation and share your insights. We want to hear your perspective on today's episode. Your thoughts matter, so please drop them in the comments below.